Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is John here. Sorry I couldn't get this video out on Sunday. I know I said I'd try to do multiple, and you're probably going to see a bunch of stuff here. I'm going to try to make this one quick and kind of just do a recap of my week so far. I was out of town on the weekend. Again, I apologize. I was visiting some family. Kind of last time my wife and I can for a while. But we're here now, and I'll try to get this regular on Sunday. I will be putting them to like a YouTube channel. Not that I want anybody to come and like it. It's just easier for me to store everything there, and then hopefully make some sort of playlist. I have a video about cheese that I did a while back, so I will make an educational section there, a playlist, eventually. I'm a little busy. And then I'll have like the weekly forecast or whatever. And I know from the poll that everyone put 1 hour, 4 hour, so I apologize. But the trades that I've taken this week have been 4 hour daily and a 1 hour 15. The logic is still the same. It's just how I've been looking. But I will do some 1 hour, 4 hour forecasts here in a minute. All right, so my first trade that I looked at was this Euro New Zealand, and we're on a daily chart. And so first thing I noticed is this, obviously we had buyers coming up. If you can look at the full picture, we really don't care about this, but we had buyers coming up, holding, buyers coming up, holding, and a strong impulse down, right? Even down below these guys, right? And if this was, they held here and pushed up from here, you can see they came down and started holding below that previous buyer. And so on the 4 hour, what I was looking at is looking at this pullback, right? So we pushed up, held, pushed up, and near the line, and then immediately came down, pushed up again, kind of held, pushed up again, and then came down. And what did we do? We held below the moving average. Okay? You can see we kind of held here for a good amount of time. This might be 2 days or 1 day. I'm just slow here, right? And basically what these moving averages represent is a way to gauge when price is going to roll over. Obviously, we shouldn't rely on the moving averages. All it is a 10 and a 20 EMAs, right? But sometimes if you find yourself getting into trades a little too early, this can help. All right. So what did I want to see? So you can see here this people might have thought it was a V formation. I mean, I guess you could have waited for a test up here again, maybe dropped it down, and see, okay, is there any region where you had some trapped buyers? You kind of had this region and up here maybe. So you could have gotten a better price than what I did, right? But when you don't have all the time in the world, what can we do? We can use the moving averages, okay? And I kind of just put my stops kind of near that swing high. Right, and you can see it took forever to go down. I have already, and I'm kind of put an alert here. Basically what I'm expecting is price to come back up. If it comes up and kind of holds here, maybe drop down to 1 hour and see if there's another possible entry to get in. If not, I might be looking to take out most of the position here shortly. Right now I think my stops are set around here ish, so I'm in profit. So all my trades right now are in profit, and profit is locked in, so I'm risk free. So I wouldn't mind if I get a nice sort of pullback that I see buyers fading to add a position, because these longer time frames, it's when you're risking 1%, it's hard to feel like you're making any money, I should say. Okay. So cancel. Don't know what I did there. Okay, so all right. Another one that I was in was this guy. You can see I had a similar thing. Price, you can see this is a big uptrend. Price kind of held here, kind of impulsed up, right? Some value of volume above the average. All right, and then what I wanted, I just wanted to gauge the pullback down to that area. You can see in this one we had a nice big V, and it kind of just held above the moving average, which is kind of what we want to see. Again, we probably could have found a region where this was testing down to get a better price. I got in here, but you can see it came up, pulled back, came up again, and I decided to close this position right here. Take that back. It was right in here. Basically on this candle right here. Close that candle is where I decided to get out. You can see it's reversed down. Okay, so I wasn't liking these wicks here, so I decided to get out. This could go down. Maybe we get an impulse down, right? So this is kind of the lower high. If this has a nice impulse down, I'll be looking to get into a pullback down, and this thing has room to go. Okay. All right, so I guess I can get rid of this. Don't need that anymore. All right, so the other 4-hour daily trade that I'm in is Aussie New Zealand. Similar thing, we just had price going up, kind of held up here, broke down these lows, and then broke down again. And so basically I was looking at, okay, if price can hold in this region, let's take a short. Same thing, just gauging the momentum here. We started having the pullback, price comes above the moving averages, got up here, held, shot down. This is what got me interested right here, right? Okay, is our big boy back, right? Anytime price gets up into this area, shoots down, and what happened is price came up and retested this area. So if I could have been a little quicker to the ball, I could have gotten a price in here, because this would be a lopsided V, right? Usually a lopsided V will not go up and test the tops here, but some sort of support area, okay? Which you can see it came up nicely in this area. With that, again, I used the same logic as before, and basically price held, right? These are just probes, price held below the moving average. So you can see that's where I got in. Put my stops again near this kind of swing high. And now I'm just falling down. This one is at break even or a little below, I believe, somewhere in here. Again, in this one, if we could see, some sort of buyers fading, right? Because this is, these are some weak buyers, right? So maybe they step back in, right? This zone. Might look to add a position. If not, if this just pulls back a little bit, like 1-2 candles, and then drops again, I'll be looking to move my stops to there. Okay, that's kind of how I'm managing these trades going forward. This one also has room to go down if I can, hold on to my britches and get through all that. All right, so that is all I have so far on 4-hour daily trades. There's a couple where you did have some moves that you could have got in, but they're kind of fizzling and not really doing anything. This was another one where price broke down and retested this area. I wasn't quick enough to get in. You can see it came down and tested. So far, what I'm looking at is a lot of the pounds. They all have this similar structure where price was holding and just fell. And now I'm looking at a pullback up to this area. Okay. Again, this is 4-hour daily, so this could take some time, but you can see we are starting the pullback. Okay. And for most part, they are all like that. Okay. So just looking at that pullback, so that's where I'm at on that. This again would have been a nice one to get into. You can see price was pulling back, right? Came up and kind of held above this line. All right, so now it's kind of just inching its way up. So I wouldn't say it's got all the steam in the world. So this one could turn around. Maybe we'll get a set 2, right? Fails to make a higher high, comes back down somewhere over here, right? As long as it comes down and kind of holds and probes back up, it'd be a good place to get in. If it just comes down and, you know, drops, I'll be looking like that. Okay. Another one that someone is looking at is this USD CHF, but I see a big, you know, congestion area right here, and price fell through. And basically, there was no real pullback to continue the sell, and basically kind of just range. And then what we had was kind of an impulse here. Okay, so I know someone is looking to buy this. This is what I would consider a counter trend. Again, what you would want to see is we got the pullback down, right? And now we had a strong move above. So what I'd want to see is these sellers come back in and kind of just hold in this region. Maybe next week. I don't know. This is a long time. I don't want to see strong moves coming down if we're going to take this to a buy. Potentially up to here, if not a little higher. So I have that one on the radar. We got to see how it unfolds. Okay. Another trade that I took this morning, if people were listening or watching, is I took a 1 hour, 15-minute trade. Similar ideas. What did I see? Price came up here, failed to go higher, right? This is kind of like a big range. Came down aggressively and started pulling back. You kind of have these, this would have been a support area that it just crashed through and held below and then came up. And basically someone was asking me how I saw this. And shoot, don't know what I did there. Yes. Don't know. What I saw was, again, price go above this moving average. Hold, you know, price went a little higher, and then we had this nice V formation. And then what I did was drop down to the 3 minutes. This is once I got to work. It was before 7, so I get in. It's about 6:30 is when I get into work. I noticed this in the morning before I left, and basically what I was looking for is price to come up to this zone, right? And it did. I had a limit order set here, and then I kind of just put my stops. It was a little risky, but maybe up here would have been better. Or I could have watched this a little better because it kind of gave a, after it opened, impulse and could have gotten in up here. I really wasn't expecting it to just drop like it did. Right? So then it dropped. And my problem was when it got down here, work was picking up for me. And this is kind of a landmine, right? There were some strong buyers here. And you can see it picked up. I took out most of the profit at this line. I took out 75%. I moved my stops to right above it. In hindsight, I probably should have waited and looked at the first little pullback of this big move. This probably gave us a good entry to add a position. And you can see that it just kept going down. All right. So that's kind of how I saw that. That's kind of a little more advanced way to trade. Not necessarily looking at the most recent breach and stuff like that, just kind of looking at support zones. Okay, but overall, this is a good like 4.2 hour trade. So quite happy. So again, what I look for is kind of like impulses, right? Measure a pullback, see another impulse, pullback, right? just follow that kind of logic. All right, I'm not going to go over any things here, but most people wanted to see what I see on 1 hour, 4 hours. Again, I'm going to look at the major pairs. First one being the AUD USD, so around 4 hour. So what do I see now? We do have kind of these buyers coming up. Really no way to get in. I think I talked about this in the last video. They held, came up, and then just crashed, right? So what we could be looking at is some sort of, area here. Again, this would correspond with probably more of a daily. Let's see here if this loads. Daily impulse down, sort of, yeah. It's tough. This is a big uptrend. Right, so we had this. You also had a break here, right? This would have been kind of logic breach, but kind of just came right back, right? And held in this region and then kind of went up. So what are we looking at then? If we go to the 1 hour, we should see. We want to see what happens when price gets up to this area. You can see some buyers pushed up. It came down. It did kind of hold. However, we would like to see the price come up and touch this. It didn't. Shot up again. Right? Again, came up and it's come down and it's holding below these moving averages. You could say that this angle on these moving averages is still too steep for this move, right? Price takes time, right? It goes up before it goes down like this, right? It takes time to roll over. Basically all I'm trying to say there. So very sharp incline on the moving averages, less here, if you see that. So basically if we can see price, but we got this strong candle coming in, so kind of worrisome. So kind of waiting to see what happens. Ideally what I would like to see is, this is kind of some sort of range. I would like to see like a strong impulse either way and then look to get in. Euro USD. This one, if we look at just the most recent price action, we had a strong impulse, came down on the 1 hour. Yes, these sellers came in strong. Buyers pushed up again and then kind of held here. So you might have been able to get in. To me, that's risky, but you can kind of see that, price held here. So I don't know exactly, yeah, that would be some sort of, right? Breach down, came up and held on this line. Very strong move. This was a very weak move, right? Not much volume. So what am I seeing now? Again, price breaking through this support on volume very impulsively. So what I'd like to see on the 1 hour, this pullback here is way too quick. That was a horrible arrow. So I'd like to see this come up like this, probe, and then hold and go down. Okay, so we gotta keep our eye on that one. Pound USD. What I'm seeing here is kind of got this area here. Or is it more like this? I don't know. Something like this. If you want to just take into account the sellers, it'd be something like that. Right? So this region in general, you could just put one here too. We want to see this pullback start to fade. You can see the the move coming up is not quite as strong compared to that impulse down, right? So what do we want to see? Price did pick up impulsively here. We want to see, I would have liked to see something stronger and then pull back. So with this being said, this is very steep angle on these moving averages. So I would expect price to maybe come back up here, drop down again, and then come back to this area or some sort of area and look for a sell. All right, so let's see here, New Zealand. This is a tough one, right? Because you got these higher time frame moves, right? Oh, sorry for this horrible line. Higher time frame moves here, right? Where prices come up, held, price came up and held, and then kind of just started falling. You can see it didn't respect this one. You might have been able to get in a small sell. But you can see it's kind of just grinding its way up. Not very impulsively, right? It's push up, pull back, push up, pull back, push up, pull back, okay? So here, you might have a chance to get in a sell here. So we did have a strong move down. Price came up and held below the moving averages. Kind of want to see it again, right? It kind of creates, a money spot looking thing, right? So if we could get some sort of impulse, or not impulse, but a probe, so some sort of wick, or look to set a limit order, some up here, stops up here, and then we could look to prices down here. You'd have these different levels though, okay? We gotta keep an eye on that one too. It's not too bad. Looking, kind of just we need price to come back though, right? We might have missed this. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of volume here on that move, right? So this, you can't see that, right? A lot of volume there corresponding to this impulse or V, right? And it was, price did come up and respect this area on a lopsided V. See here, USD CAD is kind of, this one, I don't really see anything. Other people might. I mean, we had this big downtrend, price coming up, but no real, this was impulse, and then you can see it just kind of held here, right? This was a nice move, started pulling back, and it's just kind of ranged right here. Okay, so until we see something more definitive, I would just hold off on looking at this one. Now, this one is quite interesting. We had a nice strong move down, right? So we do have several levels here that we could be looking at. So basically, you can see price came down. Now we want to see what happens when it goes over here or this other area, right? So look for this one maybe Friday. We gotta see what happens tomorrow. USD JPY, this was a nice move. It's tough to see, but price is kind of holding. So no good. Holding here, right? Impulse moved down and kind of held here. I don't know if there would have been an entry. Yeah, there's no way you can get this on a 1 hour, 4 hour. This is definitely clearly a 15-minute 1 hour trade. What we could be looking at is a pullback to this area though, or possibly somewhere in here. Okay, if we get a nice pullback, right, somewhere like this, we could be looking to resume that sell. All right, so far that's all I'm looking at. Again, I'm focused on the major pairs because I haven't really been keeping up with anything. I'm sure there's other pairs out there. For the sake of just how I kind of forecast what I want to be looking to see, all of these, it looks like there could be some prime opportunities. You just gotta wait and see. You gotta let price action unfold. Okay. If I remember, and if people don't believe me, actually I can log in. Well, if people want to see it, I can show my actual trades or whatever. But I promise I'm in these trades. So I hope that helps people. Ask any questions, and I'll help in any way that I can. Stay safe out there and have a good rest of the week. And hopefully I'll have another video on Sunday of what I'm looking for, what I see. And if I see anything interesting in the meantime, I'll make sure to add it. I'll see you all in the Discord. Bye.